everybody. Welcome to another Three Geeks conversation. It's Justin and I here today with Liz Priestley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to start off pretty simple. What made you want to be an actress?
Well, it's kind of a cliche answer, but it's that thing, when you're a little kid and you're watching movies and you see them up on the screen and you go, who does that? Like, who gets to act out the stories? I want to do that, So when I was a kid, it was around 6 or 7 watching movies and going, this is great, but how do they make that? Does someone get to pretend for a living? They get to be paid to do that? I want to do that, and it just stuck. Yeah, and it was literally making movies, not acting on stage or I mean, I did all of that, but it was always, I want to make movies. I want to be in front of a camera. And I had siblings that were involved in theater growing up and things like that, but that's where it stuck for me.
We're going to get into your films here in a minute, but I mean, you hit it out of the park already with your first feature-length film, and that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I figured, I'm going to start, might as well start out with a bang, make sure people take notice. Yeah, right. Like I had any control over that at all.
So, what films, what actors or actresses inspired you?
That's a great question. So when I was really, really young, and we're talking around 6, 7, 8 years old, I was really into old movies. I was super into Vivian Leigh and Katharine Hepburn and oh my goodness, Jimmy Stewart, people that people my age were not watching, you know what I mean? But I loved, old movies. I used to sneak downstairs at 3 a.m. to watch Gone with the Wind when I was 6. And then my parents would come down for breakfast and find me sitting on the couch 3 hours in being like, this is fascinating, and then later on it became Denzel, Viola, especially Viola. My whole life, in some way, shape, or form, every couple months or so, someone will come up to me and be like, do you know who you look like? You look like that actress, the one that's How to Get Away with Murder. I'm like, Viola Davis. And they're like, yeah, her. And I'm like, yep, only my whole life. So I had to pay attention to her. It was kind of a given. But I'm a huge fan of black and whites from the 40s and 50s. I'm a huge Betty Davis fan. All About Eve is one of my top 5 favorite movies. It's just I'm very weird. I'm a walking contradiction a bit, So.
So I'm looking at your IMDb, and I noticed you're quite the musician and the opera performer. And can I kind of go into your background there? That looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of took a detour to get to where I'm at now, but no, I've done theater for about 25 years, and then before all that, I started out as a violinist when I was 4, and I played for about 18, 19 years. And then in the middle of that, began studying classical opera. And there was a point in time where it was like, are you going to do opera or are you going to do acting? I always knew I was going to do acting, but everyone, that I grew up, they were kind of like, you're a singer, you should do that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't really. But I went into musical theater actually and did that for a long time. But it was always, no matter what I was doing, it was like, yeah, I'll do this for now until I could get to that. You know what I mean? It was like, I'll do musical theater if it opens up doors to get me to film, or I'll do opera just so I can tour and, meet people so that hopefully it leads to that, So I did a lot, but it was always with the idea of this is just temporary and this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, so to kind of
Yeah,
follow
quite a few
up.
detours though. Quite a few.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's amazing, right? But I would imagine that prepared you very well for acting, right? I mean, it's all a little bit of the same stuff, right? Or am I wrong?
Oh yeah, I mean, live performing, whether you're a concert or a play, I mean, that instantaneous audience feedback is, I mean, you don't get that on film. So it definitely, it's great training, because it's like what happens when a show comes to a screeching halt, or what happens when somebody forgets something, or if you're playing an instrument, what happens if you forget your music, or you forget how to do, I've seen that happen where people just, I've been at a concert with like, I'll never forget this little kid. I was playing violin and he was playing piano, and he sat down and put his hands over the keys, and it was like, I forget. And he just like forgot. Like he just totally forgot. And I was like, oh, it's okay. His mom comes up, it's okay, but it was just like, like, oh, never be me,
Oh man, that's awesome.
So recently I've gotten into short films. I've never really seen a whole lot of them, and I didn't really know where to find them. But lately I've been getting in. I want you to, what's Faithful about? And how did you get involved with the project?
Yeah, so that actually it was a student film. So I'm in Philadelphia, or just outside Philadelphia. You can't say it's Philadelphia to a Philadelphia native. They get really upset. Suburbs, Philadelphia suburbs. But no, I'm right around. There's a bunch of colleges and universities that have really good film schools, one of which is Temple University. And Temple Student Films, it's one of those things. If you're in the East Coast and you're in the Philly area, you got to do some Temple Student Films to really, bulk up your resume, get that experience of acting in front of a camera. And it's a really unique situation, because they're learning the art of filmmaking, and you in some ways are learning the art of filmmaking. So it's a wonderful kind of collaborative process in that way. But that was a film that a Temple student, Nia Bullock, was directing, and I auditioned for it because at that point I was like, I have no film credits. I was like, I should probably get a couple on here if I want to, if I want to be in this field. So I auditioned, and I got cast, and it's a short film. It's about, oh boy, I haven't watched it in a while. That one is about a husband and wife. And it's like I think it's the wife, they've had like an argument. The wife goes out with her best friend like to a bar and doesn't come home, and the husband's kind of like, where you at? What you doing? Why aren't you answering your phone? But I play the best friend. I play that girl that, when the husband calls, she snatches the phone and she's like, yeah, she's out with me and she's having a good old time. And I bet you wish you were here right now. Click. Like, I'm that friend. You know what I mean? So that was the part. And it was really great because I never get to play roles like that, really. I rarely get to play them. So I had a lot of fun. I had some nice big hair, and, it was really fun. But so technically that is my first film. It's a, short film, but yeah, that's my first on camera experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And your second on camera experience, at least for IMDb, Concrete Jungle, you really went for it.
Cowboy.
Concrete
Cowboy.
Yeah, Concrete Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah. Idris Elba, Method
It does
Man.
sound like it should be Concrete Jungle, though. That's kind of a cool name. I'm kind of want to know what that story could be about. That could be cool. Concrete Jungle. Anyway, yeah, Concrete Cowboy.
And you're just like, I want a stellar cast for my first feature film, and you got it. This is a pretty good cast. Well, what's it like working on set with all the heavy hitters that you have there?
Oh, no big deal. Just another day. Such an inconvenience, and like, gosh, who could ever stand working with Idris Elba? Like, God, he's awful. Yeah, right. I honestly, I think it's one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. I just, you know, and the whole time, you know, everybody in my life, from my manager to, you know, my parents to my boyfriend to everybody, they're just like, just remember, he's just a guy, right? He's just a man. You're just a woman. You're two actors. You're in there. You're doing your thing. He's just a guy. And I'm like, he's not just a guy, though. Like, first of all,
Have you seen Thor?
like, he's one of the world's most beautiful men ever. And then you walk up to him and you're standing, you're just, you know, and I met him the first time we even laid eyes on each other. We're both on horses and he's like a foot away from me. It was just like, this is the most surreal thing I've ever done in my life. I don't even know, what is my life? What's happening? You know, normally in that process, there would be somewhere in the audition process where, you know, if this was shooting in LA, for example, they might have flown me out there to meet people, to have a chemistry test, to make sure we look good together, all that. None of that happened. So it's like, I showed up on set one day, and first of all, I had to like argue with the security people because they thought I was just a rabid like female fan that was there to see Idris, and so they wouldn't let me in at first. So that was fun. And then I finally get there and I meet Caleb McLaughlin, and it's like, hi, I'm Caleb. Hi, I'm Liz. Let's get up on a horse. You know, that was bizarre. And I, you know, I'm now a fan of Stranger Things, but at the time I had binge watched the first season, so I'm expecting this like 11-year-old kid. And I turn the corner and it's like a 17-year-old man there to greet me, who's taller than me in heels. And he's like, Mom. And I'm like, whoa, you know? So they put us up on a horse and then they pull us up to another horse. And I look to my right, there's Idris. And it's just like, I don't. I can form words at this point. He looked at me and he smiled and he's like, hello, wife. And I was like, hello, husband. Like, it's crazy. Crazy times.
I gotta ask, as a Wu-Tang and hip hop fan, what's Method Man like?
It was fun. And we're all allergic to horses.
Super awesome. What's Method Man like?
So my first day on set, after I finished shooting my first scene, and I'm super, like, at this point, I'm like super excited. I know I'm not going to get to sleep tonight, that kind of thing. And I walk into my car and this man stops me. He's like, hey, how you doing? I heard you did great today. And I'm like, thank you so much. We had a 20-minute conversation. And then I got into my car and then realized that was Method Man. So he's very nice, but I didn't know who he was. Yeah, he was really nice. That was the only time I really got to talk to him. I heard from the other, you know, the cowboys and everything, that he was super chill. He and Idris were like just hanging out with all the cowboys, like around a big campfire. They were just sitting there chilling, shooting the breeze. So I heard he was really cool. But yeah, I was so embarrassed. I was like, I talked to him for 20 minutes and just, I think I was like fangirling about Idris to him for 20 minutes and then realized that was Method Man. And he, you know, was so nice. He was just like, yeah, he's great, isn't he? You know, like, sorry.
I'm also famous. Thank you. Yeah.
I think
yeah, like, I'm sorry. But he was very nice to me. So, you know.
Yeah, no, I think most people would have that same mentality. I think I'd be the one that would be geeking out and falling to the floor because it's Method Man. But I think most people would be thinking so much of Idris Elba because the dude is huge and one of the best actors in Hollywood.
I mean, it's like you get up close to him and you're just like, it's like there's no sound around. All the sound drops out. He's like in a halo and you're just kind of like, oh. Like it's just it's almost otherworldly being around him. But then he's like, I actually think he's kind of shy. He was so friendly and really nice, but he was just kind of like quiet. He was just kind of sitting back watching the action, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, he was awesome. I got to hug him. Like it's like I could die now. I could die happy. I'm good. I don't need to do anything else acting wise. I'm good.
They have to cry you off with him from the hug.
I mean, it was like one of those. I went home and my boyfriend was like, you're gonna have to shower at some point, right? And I was like, never.
But not today.
It stays forever.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when does the movie come out?
So I'm not liberty to say yet. I will say it's soon. There are some negotiations happening. I wish I could tell you which ones. But yeah, I'll just say probably streaming services. Probably. Okay. Cool. I don't know. I mean, you don't know anymore now with people trying to open theaters and then trying to. I don't really know. But I would say probably early in the new year. That's all I'm gonna say, and I hope I don't get it wrong. No, that's fine.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
I will be looking forward to it. Yeah. What's coming next from you?
So I'm basically chilling a little bit. I mean, COVID kind of threw a lot of things, as we all know, threw a lot of things in the on the back burner. So, it made a lot of things shut down production. So, I mean, I'm still auditioning, but I'm also writing. And so it looks like probably what's going to be next for me is like a small web series that I've been working on, possibly also a screenplay that I've been working on. But one of those two things, they're very close to completion. And I'm excited about those. And then, hopefully when the movie does come out, that opens a few more doors and,
more phone calls. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good.
I am too. I think it's important. It's timely, like oddly timely. But in terms of like telling the story of Black cowboys in America, because along with the father-son story that's in there, this whole story of Black cowboys, I think, is one that is really interesting and definitely needs to be told. So I'm looking forward to people seeing it. I want to hear people's responses. Here.
Absolutely. So where can everybody find you on the social medias?
So I'm very boring. I have a Facebook, Priestley. I'm sure that'll change eventually. Someone will be like, you need a Twitter and you need a Snapchat and you need an Insta. Like, stop it. But right now, Facebook under Liz Priestley, and you can also be on IMDb under Liz Priestley.
Sure can.
Other than that, just Google me.
I recommend if you get any of the other ones, get Instagram and ignore the rest. Instagram's still like
Instagram,
not so
okay.
cool. It's still a happy place to go.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, I don't know if I want the negativity of a Twitter, but I don't think I'm interesting enough for an Instagram. I'll take pictures of like, I don't know, my feet and be like, well,
you play videos, you playing the violin and stuff. You got a whole bunch of musical stuff you could do.
I really could. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, but do people me play violin? I don't know. But I could. I absolutely could. You're right. Yeah. Maybe I will. Make it a musical theater channel.
Why not?
I have options. Part to have in your back pocket, the opera singing.
Well, there's a whole list. She's got 10,000 things you can do musically.
Random places, but it's kind of cool in the sense that people, it's always the one unexpected thing that when people learn that about me, they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
Well, thank you, Liz, for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast. And to everybody
Thank
listening,
you.
have a great day.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys so much. This